All right, diving right in today.
Right into it.
We're tackling a pretty intense story, the Passover,
Absolutely.
and more specifically, the 10th plague on Egypt.
Final plague.
Yeah.
The final one.
Yeah, we've got some compelling sources that really bring this to life. You know, it's not just about the divine intervention. It's also about what the Israelites had to do.
What they had to do right.
Their response.
It's always a response, right?
It's always.
And that's what we want to get at. You know, what happened, why it matters.
Right.
The key elements, the significance.
Totally.
And what it says about, you know, the big things like
themes.
The themes.
Yeah.
Divine provision and faith.
Huge.
So
it helps to have a little background.
Right. Set the stage a little bit.
Yeah, we're talking ancient Egypt, complex belief system.
A lot of gods.
So many gods.
A lot of gods, right.
One to keep in mind, though, is
Osiris. Yeah. God of death, the underworld.
And resurrection.
Even resurrection. So that's interesting as we're about to see, you know, what happens.
Yeah, it's setting up this big power play here.
Yeah.
Divine power play.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's pretty important to remember, too, like...
The context.
Yeah, the context.
Yes,
huge context here. Before this even happens.
Right.
Pharaoh has already ordered the murder of...
all the Hebrew baby boy.
All the Hebrew male infants.
And it's a dark backdrop to this whole thing.
It's a grim backdrop, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing to keep in mind is...
Cattle.
Yeah, they were hugely important in Egypt.
They were.
Yeah, daily life, but also religion.
Really?
Yeah, they were often like associated with gods even.
Oh, wow.
So you can see how this plague is going to hit them on multiple levels.
All these different...
Well,
it's not just
levels, right?
Not just people. It's their whole
society, their beliefs.
Everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so...
Just let's dig in. Yeah. The announcement?
The announcement, right.
So this is big.
So 9 plagues have already happened.
9.
And Pharaoh's still like...
not budging.
No.
I mean, talk about stubborn.
I know. It's unbelievable.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
But then Moses comes in with this message from the Lord.
Yeah.
And it's pretty stark, you know?
It's, at midnight...
every firstborn
in Egypt...
human and animal...
dies. It's
just a blanket judgment.
It's just a blanket.
Pharaoh's son down to the slaves.
The animals.
The animals. It's a...
wow.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is there's this contrast, you know, like this huge devastation for Egypt.
Yeah.
But then peace and safety for the Israelites.
Not a dog will growl.
Not a dog will growl.
At the Israelites, man or beast.
It's like this clear line is drawn.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole event.
It's crazy though, right?
It is.
Because like you said, 9 plagues already. And Pharaoh's still defiant. He's still like, yeah, I'm not giving in.
It's almost like he can't, like, at this point, it's beyond just being stubborn.
Right.
It's more than that.
It's like his identity is tied up in this.
I think you're right.
You know?
Yeah, it makes you wonder how important this firstborn son was, you know?
Right.
I mean, in Egypt, he wasn't just next in line.
Right.
He was like the symbol of the father's strength, you know?
The future?
The future of the dynasty, so...
the whole legacy.
This plague is hitting Pharaoh right where it hurts.
It's targeting everything.
Everything, yeah.
And it's like,
it's like a mirror image of what Pharaoh, did you know?
Right.
Remember he ordered those Israelite baby boys to be killed?
Yeah.
And now it's his own firstborn son.
And it's justice.
Yeah, justice coming full circle.
Full circle, yeah.
So how do the Israelites get through this? You know?
Yeah, how do they survive this?
What does God tell them to do?
Right, so this is where it gets...
detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super specific.
The really specific instructions for all of them.
For the whole community, yeah.
For the whole community, right?
So on the 10th day of the month...
10th day.
Each family's got to pick a lamb.
Or a goat.
Or a goat.
A male lamb or a goat.
Yeah.
Okay.
1 year old.
1 year old.
And here's the thing, it's got to be flawless.
Perfect.
Perfect, no blemishes.
They had to have really looked these over.
Oh, no, right?
Carefully.
At 4 days, actually.
Oh, so they pick it on the 10th.
They pick it on the 10th and then...
keep it until the 14th.
Until the 14th.
Wow.
And at twilight on the 14th.
The twilight. That's when they slaughter it.
The whole community.
The whole assembly of Israel.
That's intense.
It's a powerful image.
Yeah.
And then comes the big moment.
Yeah.
The defining act.
The blood.
On the doorpost.
Yeah, they take some of that lamb's blood.
Yeah.
And they put it on the doorpost.
And the lintel.
The lintel the top part of the door frame.
Using hyssop?
Hyssop, yeah. This little plant.
Yeah.
This is like the visible sign.
Of their faith.
Of their faith and obedience.
Yeah.
Because God's promise is clear,
Yeah.
When the Lord goes through Egypt to strike down those firstborn,
Right.
it's going to pass over.
Passover.
Any house with that blood.
It's a powerful image.
Yeah. It's like a...
Protection.
Yeah.
But there's more.
Oh, yeah, there's more.
It doesn't stop there.
It's not just about the blood.
Okay.
There's instructions for eating the lamb, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got to roast it.
Roast it. Okay.
Over a fire.
And they eat it that night.
That same night.
Okay.
Unleavened bread.
Unleavened bread.
Bitter herbs.
Bitter herbs.
And they got to be ready to go.
Dress for travel.
Dress for travel.
Yep.
Yeah. Belts on sandals.
Staff
in hand.
Scaff in hand.
And they got to eat it fast.
Oh, really? So this isn't like a sit-down meal?
No, leisurely dinner party.
Just like,
say,
get ready to move.
get out of here.
Get out of here kind of meal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much symbolism packed in here, too.
Yeah, like what's the unleavened bread about?
Well, they didn't have time to let the bread rise.
Right.
They were leaving in a hurry.
In a hurry.
That unleavened bread is a reminder
A reminder of
that sudden exodus,
Right.
Leaving Egypt,
fleeing.
Wow.
And the bitter herbs.
Well, most people think it's like
To remember the bitterness.
the bitterness of slavery,
Hardship.
the hardship they went through.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because now they're about to taste freedom.
Yeah. So it's like
A contrast.
a contrast.
Right.
But let's not forget that blood on the doorposts.
Right.
I mean, that was the key.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough to just have the lamb.
You had to
They had to put that blood.
do it right.
Exactly.
Follow the instructions.
It had to be applied.
Yeah.
According to God's instructions.
That was the act of faith. That was the act of faith.
So it's interesting, too,
Yeah.
that it had to be this perfect lamb.
Yeah.
It wasn't just any lamb.
Had to be the best.
It had to be the best, right?
Yeah. It makes you think that
Maybe, sometimes.
maybe God wants our best too,
True provision requires our best effort.
Yeah, like we got to put in the effort.
Attention to detail.
Totally.
Okay, so
What happens?
the plague
The plague hits.
at midnight, just as foretold.
Just as the Lord said.
Right.
And it's
Devastating.
like awful, man.
Every firstborn son
Every single one.
in Egypt,
Come on.
Pharaoh's son, down to the prisoner,
Children to the livestock.
even the livestock.
It's a plague on the whole land.
Wow. So the result is,
Chaos.
yeah, there's this
This huge cry going up.
from Egypt.
Yeah.
The whole land is in mourning.
I mean, can you imagine
Yeah.
losing every firstborn?
The scale of it is,
It's hard to even comprehend.
it's hard to even fathom.
It's hard to even fathom.
But meanwhile, the Israelites,
Peace and quiet,
untouched,
not a hair on their heads,
not a dog growls,
not a dog growls.
man or beast.
It's incredible. It's
Yeah.
like this
It's eerie.
bubble of peace.
Right.
In the middle of this
In the middle of all this,
turmoil.
right? I mean,
It makes you wonder what that felt like
yeah, think about
for the Israelites,
all this death around them,
And they're just
and they're safe.
safe.
Silent.
It must have been awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little scary.
Yeah, that kind of power.
Yeah.
It really highlights.
It shows you the power of God,
Yeah.
That he can protect his people.
And it was targeted, right?
Yeah. It was specific.
Very specific.
Only those who obeyed
Yeah.
were protected.
Okay, so then what happens?
Well, Pharaoh,
Flips out.
he completely loses it.
Right.
He calls for Moses and Aaron in the middle of the night,
in the middle of the night,
and he's begging them,
begging them.
get out.
Get out.
Take your people.
Take everything.
Take every...
We're animals, everything.
Just go.
And even asks for a blessing.
He's like, please bless me.
It's unbelievable.
He's totally broken.
It's a complete turnaround.
Total reversal.
It's like the power dynamic is shifting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's not in charge anymore.
And now even the Egyptians themselves are like, get out. Get out of here.
Please leave.
They can't take it anymore.
They've had enough.
Yeah.
They've reached their breaking point.
They've reached their limit. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting,
Okay.
even though the instructions for protection were for everyone.
Yeah.
Apply the blood.
Stay inside.
Stay inside.
Right.
It seems like the Egyptians,
They didn't do it.
they didn't do it.
Wow.
They had the chance.
They had the chance. Yeah.
But they didn't take it.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it makes you think that this protectively for
those who trusted God.
who obeyed and obeyed.
Yeah.
It was about faith.
And our sources really emphasize
Yeah.
that this was like
This wasn't just some event that happened.
No.
This disrupted their lives.
they were sleeping
They were sleeping.
and they woke up
to this horror.
It was real.
It was
This was a
real.
visceral experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean?
Right. Theologically.
Theologically.
What are we seeing here?
Well, I think it's a pretty clear demonstration that God is in control.
Yeah.
He's the one with power over life and death.
Not Osiris.
Not Osiris.
Yeah.
The Egyptian god.
Yeah.
This is a direct challenge
To the whole Egyptian pantheon.
their whole belief system. Yeah.
Like a judgment on
their gods.
on their gods. Yeah.
And hitting Pharaoh's firstborn.
Right.
That was huge.
Yeah, he was considered to be divine.
Like a god king.
So if the firstborn was so central to their whole society, like you were saying, how did this impact their future?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
Their future leaders.
Gone.
Their whole line of succession disrupted their social order.
Their whole system is thrown into chaos.
This wasn't just about immediate loss.
Right.
It was about the long game.
Yeah, the long-term consequences.
The future of Egypt was shaken.
Wow.
And there's this theme of substitution, too, you know?
Yeah.
The lamb
taking
the place of the firstborn son.
Saving them.
Saving your lives. Yeah, it reminds me of
Abraham and Isaac.
Abraham and Isaac, right?
But it's different, isn't it?
It is.
Cause in that story.
The ram was offered after Isaac was spared.
Like
a thank you.
As a thank you.
But here, the lamb
comes first.
It comes first.
It's the means of salvation.
It's the way they're saved.
Wow, that's powerful.
Powerful imagery.
Yeah.
And the Passover.
It marks this turning point.
Yeah, the climax.
Yeah.
The ultimate act of deliverance.
From slavery.
Yeah.
Centuries of slavery.
It all builds up to this.
All the players.
Each one chipping away at Pharaoh's resolve.
Wow, and because of this, God establishes Passover as this...
As a festival, an annual celebration.
To remember this deliverance.
To remember it.
It starts on the 15th of Nisan.
And lasts 7 or 8 days.
And it includes...
The cedar. That symbolic meal.
Yeah, the unleavened bread.
The
bitter herbs. What else is in that cedar?
Oh, man, there's so much.
There's a lot going on.
So much symbolism.
Like what?
Okay, so you've got the 4 cups of wine.
4 cups of wine?
Representing the 4 expressions of redemption that God promised.
Wow.
And then they recline during the meal.
They recline?
Yeah, like they're lounging.
Instead of sitting up.
Instead of sitting or standing.
Right.
Which is how slaves would eat. You know?
So showing their freedom.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then they retell the Exodus story.
The Exodus story.
And the youngest person asks questions.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's all about involving everyone.
Yeah.
Making sure they understand.
Passing it down to the next generation.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even like...
This is amazing.
The little details in the instructions.
Oh, what?
Like being dressed for travel.
Oh, yeah.
Belts on sandals, staffs.
It's like they're ready to bolt
at
a moment's notice.
That sense of anticipation. Like we're ready to go.
Ready for action.
Yeah.
And you see the Israelites' response too.
Right.
They've come a long way.
From questioning Moses?
To now they're like, okay.
We're ready.
We see what God can do.
Let's go.
We're on board, full obedience.
Yeah.
They're all in.
But then...
One more thing.
They can't just leave.
Oh, right.
They got to stay inside.
Until morning.
Why? Well, for a few reasons.
Okay, like what?
First of all, they don't want to be mistaken. Right?
For the killing.
As the ones who brought death.
And second, they shouldn't be celebrating.
Yeah, he's celebrating the Egyptians.
Yeah, they're suffering.
Right.
God.
It's not about that.
God doesn't take pleasure in the death of the wicked.
Right.
And their children.
Yeah, think about the kids.
Yeah.
Hearing all that crying.
They got to comfort their kids.
They got to be there for them.
Right.
And maybe most importantly, it's about faith.
It's about...
They're behind that blood.
They're protected.
Yeah. They got to trust God.
Not take matters into their own hands.
Exactly.
Right.
And the last point is huge.
What's that?
Those firstborn sons who were spared, they belong to the Lord.
Wow.
It's like this new level of dedication.
Yeah, that's
Their
nice.
lives were spared.
They have this for a reason.
Purpose. Yeah. Wow. So, as we wrap up, what are the big takeaways here?
Well, for me, the Passover is more than just history. It's about provision.
Even in judgment.
He
He provides a way out.
He gives them a way to escape.
And it's about faith.
Absolutely.
Right.
That act of applying the blood.
That's the key.
That's the key.
This is the key.
Trusting God.
Yeah.
Putting their faith into action.
And that leads to deliverance.
From death.
From death and from
slavery.
From slavery.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the Passover is this foundational event for the Israelites.
It's their liberation.
Liberation, reality.
And it's
This continues.
to this day.
Reminding us
Of God's power.
and the importance of faith.
And the importance of faith.
So this story, while it's ancient, it's got this really...
It speaks to us.
Yeah, it speaks to us today.
Today.
How can we apply this?
How can we?
This idea of provision and faith.
To our own lives.
Yeah. What does that blood on the doorpost represent for you? In your life?
What's our blood on the doorpost?
What's that act of trust?
What's that step of faith?
That leads to deliverance.
Yeah.
It's something to think about.
It really is.
It really is.
It's a powerful
image.
Yeah.
Powerful story.
All right. Well, thanks for thanks for diving in with us.
This was great.
And we'll catch you next time
See you later.
on the Deep Dive.
Bye.